Hey guys, Sketchy here. Planning on taking a break for a while, but then I saw the controversy with Nuxtaku and Vshojo, and I thought I should probably talk about it because it involves two things that I also know, which kind of sucks because I both like them. But it turns out that recently, if you haven't heard, Nuxtaku made a video about swatting for small indie VTubers that should watch out for it if they were to apply to Vshojo because it was a scam. But then Vshojo themselves, who accepted this video, ended up turning it over and just saying, you know what, it's actually bad, and basically threw him under the bus, which was caused by the Vshojo girls not liking the video and wanting it to be taken down, which Nuxtaku eventually did. But then Vshojo themselves ended up also saying that they did not support Nuxtaku, even though they literally thanked him in a tweet for making the video. And, Nuxtaku seeing all of this ended up getting a ton of hate. So he himself made an apology video, which was actually one of the better apology videos I've ever seen, where he basically, makes it short and simple and tells his own side of the story with evidence and actually says sorry, which is pretty hard nowadays on social media, so that was actually pretty good. And honestly, I feel like Nuxtaku is probably the most right in this situation, even though literally everybody in the whole entire situation ganged up on him, which that itself was pretty fucked up since he couldn't defend himself immediately. Everybody just went after him and told him that he was a terrible person and that they were taking advantage of the other girls of the talents just to get some clout, which was just remarkably untrue. This was seen by the fact that he made the video just because he wanted to warn indie VTubers the possibility of getting swatted by some scam and doxxed. And the thing is, he didn't have to make this video. He could have just, just watched and waited. But he decided to because he himself has gotten swatted and doxxed and was almost doxxed again by the same person who was swatting people. So, in the end, it doesn't really make sense why he got as much hate as he did. The worst he really did in this situation was not take down the video immediately because the Vshojo girls, which I'll get into later, basically told him to take it down, but he didn't do it immediately, which, not the best look, but it isn't the worst thing that has happened in this situation so far. And if I'm being honest, the Vshojo girls themselves didn't really look good in this situation either. This was because they basically all ganged up on Nuxtaku and tweeted how much they hated and did not like his video and were disgusted and disappointed him. Basically, the most brutal tweets I've ever seen. Some of them were like close friends to him, which was very surprising from what happened. And it basically really hurt Nux extremely. Even more due to their fan bases, which it was extremely ignorant for them and their fans to just attack Nuxtaku without letting him defend themselves on Twitter. The three main girls that did this and led the whole entire cause against Nuxtaku were Vey, Hime, and Yanners. They caused the most damage with them with their tweets. Vey joked about it. Hime just made him look like a horrible person, and Yanners, Jesus Christ, she just went full throttle on him. Basically just ripped him apart. And from what I could tell, they all did this because they did not look like Nuxtaku beforehand. Which, it's fine to not like a person, but to do this is pretty fucked up since you just use the opportunity of the drama to just bash him in the most painful, most gross way I've ever seen. So much that I'm not going to put into this video. If you want to see it, you could go onto their Twitter accounts, which I really don't recommend. It's probably the most toxic I've ever seen. Just, if you really are curious, you could do it, but I personally don't like it. And the other girls in this situation, they just seem scared and fearful and angry at the video due to the fact that it could potentially be dangerous to them, even though the swatter himself is being legally dealt with and can't really do anything to them. Now, three of them have already apologized: Andrea, Iron Mouse, and Fruit. And from what I could tell, Nuxtaku has also forgiven them and apologized personally. So that's good. But the three main girls that I mentioned before should take the most responsibility. They basically roasted a man alive on a fire with all of their fans just attacking him constantly, which isn't a good look for the company if that's what they were trying to not do. But now that I think about it, the company, how did they fit into this situation? Well, to summarize it, they fucked up the most. This is because they were the main cause of the situation. They basically made a giant miscommunication between everyone involved. First, let's start with Nuxtaku. Basically, this started with the whole entire situation of him posting the video, which they themselves in their own statement says, "Oh, we didn't want him to," which Nux basically dismisses in his apology video when it literally shows that with one of the employees and him, they said it was fine for him to make the video and he had full right to do it. And the only problems they had, they would tell him and he would edit it out. That was basically all. He showed them the video, they were okay with it, he posted it. Apparently, they said that they didn't want him to do this, which, if we're looking at Nux's messages, that would be really hard to tell. They're basically hinting at it in the most strangest, most unidentifiable way where they're like, oh, well, we're fine with it, but you don't have to. We're just, kind of concerned, but, you can do it. Like, if you don't want him to do it, then just tell him no. And from what I could tell, Nux wouldn't have a problem with this since he allowed them to edit his video, and he would probably not make the video if he knew that they didn't want him to make it. And for the Vshojo girls, they did not tell them about the video, which makes absolutely no sense. They are part of your company, and they had the chance of getting doxxed themselves. So why wouldn't you ask them about a video that may have them included in? Which, the video itself did not name any names aside one person, Saki, who was perfectly fine with being in the video and actually appreciated it from Nux. Now, the whole entire reason Vshojo caused all this miscommunication was because they wanted to stay silent and not seem bad, since they basically did not do anything about the doxer for months, as revealed by Saki, that this case happened in the earliest in March. That is months ago. This has been happening for such a long time by the swatter, and Vshojo did not do anything until Nux just so happened to show by and decided to do something. What's incredibly stupid in this whole entire situation is that Vshojo could have actually stopped this whole entire miscommunication easily. They either could have emailed all the applicants that they do not have to give personal information if they see this, that is a doxing scam and they should not, give the information. Or they could have told Nuxtaku that they did not want the video out yet, or, never have it. Or let the video go out, but before that, tell the Vshojo girls so that they would understand and, ask Nuxtaku about it. There, you just got rid of the whole entire problem easily. No, risk involved. Instead, they chose to let this happen and basically didn't do anything until, it affected them. So they made a statement. And the whole entire statement itself was good, except for the fact that they still used Nuxtaku as their, door to get out of the situation, saying that they told him not to make the video and that he just ignored them. But to summarize the whole entire situation in one word, I would call it messy. Since everyone was basically attacking each other, there was a lot of miscommunication. The company themselves that started this were basically silent for the most part until they needed to say something when they realized it made them look bad. But what pisses me off the most is the fact that not only did Nuxtaku get all this undeserved hate that basically made all of his good intentions seem horrible by the people who he trusted, and probably scarred him by the fact that his friends would do this to him, and that he was the one to blame for putting them in danger. But the whole entire situation caused by the doxer was forgotten. The doxer himself, literally no one thought about him. The scum of the earth literally was forgotten in the situation. That is just horrible. That should not happen in situations like this. People put more hate into Nuxtaku than they did to this person. Even though he is being legally dealt with and is probably going to be arrested, he still technically won by the fact that the person who did this to him is getting all the hate for him. To me, that just makes me feel bad for the guy. For Nuxtaku, I mean, not the fucking doxer. And I just hope that Nuxtaku gets to, make up with his friends and gets to move on, because I know he may seem like someone who says that he can't get canceled and that he's fine with all the hate. But this situation probably was the most painful to him, since this is the first actual apology video he has ever made with sincereness. So, to say the least, I think we should support Nuxtaku and that we should move on. See ya.